Utah Jazz fans were hopeful for this season after the departure of Gordon Hayward to Boston in the summer. They thought the combination of Rubio, Derek Favors, and Rudy Gobert would be good enough to take them to the playoffs, as they were surrounded by solid role players. I thought alongside these exact lines, and even made a video outlining the team's prospects. And whilst I and many others were excited by Donovan Mitchell's Summer League performances, no one expected the explosive rookie out of Louisville to dominate the way he has to start this year. And Spider Mitchell, as he was affectionately nicknamed as a kid, has truly shown every ounce of talent he has in recent games, leading the Jazz to a 6-game win streak without many of their key players. But how good can he be this year and beyond? This video will attempt to answer that, as well as providing a background history to one of the most exciting rookies in Utah Jazz history. Donovan was born and raised in New York, something which reflects in his game as he has that attack at all costs on offense style of play that is balanced with incredible skills and the ability to finish tricky shots at the rim. He would initially go on to attend high school in Connecticut, where he would play both basketball and baseball to an incredibly high level. But it wasn't until he transferred to Brewster Academy in New Hampshire that Mitchell would commit to basketball and leave baseball behind. With this focus on one sport, Donovan would shine, and his commitment to the sport and talent he displayed drew him wide attention from college coaches. Mitchell would eventually commit to Louisville, who hoped that they could unlock the incredible potential and athleticism that they saw in Mitchell. In an interesting number choice at Louisville, Spider Mitchell would wear number 45, in dedication to the number that Michael Jordan wore in his Major League Baseball career. This number choice seems to be a nod to his early high school days, where he also struggled to leave one of America's favourite sports behind. Mitchell would seemingly struggle in his freshman year of college, averaging only 7.4 points, 1.7 assists, and 3.4 rebounds per game. But coaches and Donovan weren't worried. They knew that behind the scenes this kid was one of the hardest workers, and was striving every single day to improve his game and become the best possible player that he could be. And he would show this in his second season, making a huge jump to averaging 15.6 points, 2.7 assists, and 4.9 rebounds per game, while shooting 46.3% from the floor, 35.4% from 3, and 80% from the free throw line. Following this huge jump, he would take his chances and declare for one of the most stacked NBA drafts in a long time. The draft was full of top-level talent, with Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, and De'Aaron Fox drawing a lot of the headlines and hype. And I think if Mitchell was in the draft the previous year, he could have potentially gone top 5. Instead, he slipped down to the Utah Jazz at number 13, an incredible get for the Jazz, who were looking to acquire a talent that they could build around alongside Rudy Gobert. Utah originally had pick 24, and worked out Donovan Mitchell, and was so blown away that they resolved to get him on their roster any way possible. Dennis Lindsay, the Jazz GM, reportedly told every single Jazz staff member to not say a word about Mitchell to anybody, family, friends, and colleagues included. But the Jazz didn't think he would drop to 24, and sat patiently, hoping that a trade would present itself to allow them to jump up in the draft and nab Mitchell. Fortune favoured the Jazz, as Denver called them on draft night and offered them the 13th pick for Trey Lyles and the Jazz's 24th pick. The Nuggets were high on OG Anunoby, but thought that he would slip down to a later pick and wanted to acquire additional talent in the process. But this would backfire, as the Raptors took OG at pick 23, just one pick before Denver's now pick at 24. And the Nuggets had to take Tyler Lydon, who was a fine young prospect, but definitely not the defensive, versatile stopper the Nuggets envisaged employing on the wing. But Utah, on the other hand, were ecstatic. Trey Lyles had not developed as they expected, and they were happy to package him with that pick to jump 11 spots in the draft and into the lottery. And Mitchell immediately continued the amazing work he had shown in his workout with the Jazz when he got to the team. He would be one of the most impressive rookies in all of Summer League, as he quickly proved to be one of the fastest and longest rookie guards on the court. And he played with an absolute edge, going at every single player like he had been taken last in the draft, not 13th. He capped this off with a fantastic performance against the Memphis Grizzlies, where he had 37 points and 8 steals in an incredible two-way performance. On the offensive end, he showed his incredible three-point range, as well as his ability to get to the rim and finish, and displayed his love of attempting to throw down on other players. This performance put the league on notice that the Jazz may have snatched one of the steals of the draft, and his overall Summer League averages of 20.4 points, 4.4 steals, and 2.6 assists per game contributed to this cause. And Mitchell would then go on to start in his first game in a Jazz uniform, and averaged around 25 minutes a game for the first few games of the season. And then, in just his 6th game, he would score 22 points to go along with 3 steals against the Los Angeles Lakers and make an announcement that he belonged at the NBA level. And from this moment, Mitchell has not looked back, dropping 28 and 25 points in 2 of his next 3 games. Following this incredible show of potential and form, as well as injuries to key Utah guards Rodney Hood and Dante Exum, have allowed Mitchell to get far more minutes and secure a consistent starting spot in the lineup. And he has absolutely exploded in this limelight, averaging 19.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.5 steals a game, whilst shooting 44.7% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line, and nailing 80% of his free throws. This has come at a time when the Jazz have been seriously depleted, with Rudy Gobert, Rodney Hood, and Joe Johnson all being out with injuries. And Donovan Mitchell's increased production has allowed the Jazz to stay afloat in the incredible tough bottom half of the Western Conference playoff race. This stretch of games has included wins for the Jazz against both New Orleans and Denver, both of whom will be directly competing with the Jazz for a playoff spot, making these wins twice as important. And Donovan's biggest game so far came an incredible display of shooting and penetration against the New Orleans Pelicans. He dropped 41 points on the second night of a back-to-back to seal an incredibly important win in the early stages of the season. In doing so, he scored 6 3-pointers and displayed everything that makes him such an exciting player for the future. The first thing that I absolutely love about Donovan is his fluent one-motion jump shooting form. In the first few games of this season, Mitchell struggled from deep a little bit, but he has well and truly found his rhythm, and he not only looks great shooting, but it has reflected in his percentages as well. He's shooting 40% whilst making 2.8 threes a game since he started. Numbers that are impressive for a guard who has been in the league for 5 years, let alone a rookie. And his action is beautiful. He catches the ball, has a small dip, and then rises up quickly to a very high point, before releasing at the top of his jump. And he's very consistent with this motion and it rarely changes, indicating an intensely practiced jump shot that will hold up in games and high pressure situations. And one part of his shooting that has really impressed me is his ability to shoot off of the dribble and off of pick and rolls. I've mentioned this previously in my videos, but being able to shoot the 3 off of the dribble and off of pick and rolls is a completely different skill than spot-up shooting, and some players just never master it. But when you have mastered it, it adds another layer to a player's game that makes them almost impossible to guard in a pick and roll situation. This is one of the reasons why Steph Curry has become so effective. And whilst I'm not saying Mitchell is going to be as good as Steph, the ability to drain threes from the pick and roll is a deadly weapon. It also results in the big man having to step up high to cover the 3-point line, something which Mitchell has been abusing in games. He simply waits to see if the big man comes up too high, and if they do, he can hesitate as if he is going to shoot, before exploding past them to get to the rim. This is where Mitchell will live in the NBA, getting into the paint and collapsing defenses. He has already proven he has the ability to break down the best of defenders and then finish in tough circumstances at the rim. But in order to take his game to the next level, Mitchell will have to expand upon his passing game. But this I'm not too worried about, as rookie guards tend to take a little while to adjust to NBA defenses and coverages, and once Mitchell gets used to them, he should bump up his assist numbers to around 6 a game. And the incredible thing about Mitchell is that he has shown good defensive signs, and has the potential to be great on that end as well. Donovan uses his length and quickness to stay in a good position with his feet, whilst getting into the passing lanes with his hands. This is playing defense the right way, and is part of the reason why he gets so many steals for a rookie, and why people are so hyped for his future. If Mitchell continues to progress on both ends of the court, he could be an incredible cornerstone piece for the Jazz to build around. Guards with this much athleticism, energy, skill, shooting ability, and sheer passion to win don't come around too often. And the scary thing is, Mitchell has made phenomenally good progress over the last 2 seasons. The jump in play over his 2 years in college and the jump he made from Louisville last year to his rookie season has just been incredible. If he takes a similar jump once again, the sky is truly the limit for Donovan Mitchell. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA videos in the future. And let me know what you think of Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz in the comments below.